Thank you very much for tuning in. It's Stuart here again with some more records. This time I've been out to a charity shop. I have actually got plenty of bids in on various eBay records, so I'm looking to getting some really interesting records in for the new year. But in the meantime, what I've got today is a charity shop fair, so don't be too disappointed. They're not going to be as interesting, obviously, because on eBay there are thousands of records available, and I pick out the absolute, for me, what is the cream, the most interesting records which I can find at a reasonable price. Now, I don't compete for high value stereos. I don't do that. I let those who've got thousands of pounds do that. I haven't got thousands of pounds, so so I just tend to go for more interesting records which are more reasonably priced. So anyway, back to my charity shop expedition today. I went into a local charity shop that's got about 1,000 records out on display. Most of them are actually sort of pop and easy listening, etc., but they do have some classical as well. It's all mixed in. I go in there maybe twice a week to have a look, and I went in today. I found half a dozen that interested me, but I couldn't take them with me because I was actually going somewhere else. So I went to do an errand, and then I came back. I hid them somewhere in the shelving, and when I came back I managed to find them, that they were all there. And so without further ado, let's see what I've got. I'm going to do the embarrassing ones first because I don't really listen to classical. I've got a soft spot for 70s music and even some easy listening, oddly enough. So let me just show you. I bought a couple here which you probably won't expect, non-classical. First of all, this record, we've got the New Seekers. They're a sort of British band from the early 70s. They're an offshoot of the Seekers. One of the Seekers came to Britain and he formed the New Seekers because the Seekers disbanded. And to be honest with you, I actually like the New Seekers better than the Seekers. I think they've done some really good stuff. Yeah, it is easy listening pop. Some of the songs I really like, for example, Beg, Steal or Borrow, which came second in the Eurovision Song Contest in 1972, I actually think is the best song that Britain has ever entered for the Eurovision Song Contest. It came second. I think it should have won that year. But anyway, the main reason I bought this record here is because Beg, Steal or Borrow is actually on this record, and there are some other good tracks on here. I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing. That's obviously the Coca-Cola song, which the New Seekers handled really well, produced an excellent version, and it did very well in the American and the British charts. There's some other good material on here, songs from the Beatles and various other songs. Also, I quite like the cover. I like the pictures, especially that is actually Edinburgh Castle, and I don't know whether they've just taken a picture of the New Seekers and superimposed it on there. I think they probably have, but you know, look at the groovy dress style from the 70s. It does make you laugh a bit, doesn't it? But yeah, okay, so that record, and then good old Kenny Rogers. Now, I don't know the music of Kenny Rogers very well. I'm not really a country and western fan, but there are some country and western songs that I like, some country and western singers I like, such as Dolly Parton. And as for Kenny Rogers, for me, Kenny Rogers is all about The Gambler and The Coward of the County, the only two songs I know from Kenny Rogers. And I looked very quickly at this sort of greatest hits album, The Kenny Rogers Story, and there is actually, both songs are actually on this record. So yeah, The Gambler and The Coward of the County, they're both on here. I listened to one side of this with those songs on today, and it was great to hear them. And I mean, to be honest, The Gambler I've only ever heard on YouTube. So imagine my delight when I played this on my Riga. I could hear a lot of detail in the record that I've never heard when playing it through YouTube. I was really quite surprised actually how much more detail I could hear with my Riga, even with streaming on I streamed on Spotify, The Gambler, and I even actually, oddly enough, I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but there was certainly quite a few things on this record which I couldn't remember hearing either on streaming or on YouTube. So maybe I wasn't listening well enough, but anyway. So yeah, that's a good record, and really it's the only Kenny Rogers record I'm ever going to need, I think. But I did actually like all of the songs. So here we are, there's the label. It says Liberty on it. I don't know whether that is it must be the name of the label, I suppose. Yeah. So that was in good condition. The New Seekers. Okay, that's it. No more pop, no more easy listening, no more country and western. Let's get on to the serious business. Because I admit, when it comes to pop records, I don't know what I'm talking about, really. But obviously, my thing is classical, and I like to think that I've got quite good knowledge, or at least enough knowledge to give an interesting talk on some of these records. Okay, so let's look at this one first. We've got Brahms, a German Requiem. Now, I saw this in this shop a couple of weeks ago, and I decided not to buy it. I don't know why, actually. I should have bought it. It's a German pressing, 2 records. It's in really good condition, and it's got the booklet in it. Well, not actually booklet, I mean book. So there's the book. That's in beautiful condition, absolutely superb. Daniel Barenboim conducting the London Philharmonic, and I suppose my only quibble with a work like the German Requiem would be that I would think that a German orchestra with a German conductor and all German performers would give the best performance of this work, but nevertheless I understand this one is fairly highly rated. I don't know, because I'm not really a great fan of the German Requiem, but I'll just show you the records. So there we are, there's the box set. There are two records in it, and they're both German pressings, and they both look like they're in excellent condition. So yeah, I don't know why I left this one the first time. It's actually quite a good set, and I mean, it's not a reissue or anything. That's actually the original issue. Barenboim. Okay, so by the way, I paid £1 each for these, including the box sets. Yeah, £1 each. So really, I've got no reason to complain. Okay, the incomparable Maria Callas, diva, in my opinion, the greatest sort of soprano the world has ever heard, at least in the 20th century, definitely in the 21st century. Unmatched by anybody for sheer drama, intensity in her voice, the acting skills, and I just think that she's got an absolutely unbelievably amazing way of communicating emotion through her voice that once you become a Callas fan, it's like nobody else will do. So any of you guys who are out there who are Callas fans, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And when you've heard Callas sing Leonora's 2 great arias from Il Trovatore, there's absolutely nobody else that has got her phrasing, intonation and everything. I virtually can't listen to any other singer singing Il Trovatore other than Callas. Now this is, I believe it's a mono. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so I think it was recorded around 57. At about the time she was starting to sort of have some problems with her voice, but I think that she's in pretty good voice on this performance. Now the original is a 33CX Columbia Blue Label box set, issued, yeah, somewhere in the late 50s as a mono. It is mono, yeah. Now this is digitally remastered. I don't usually like digital remasters. And why did I buy this? Well, I mean, for £1, what could I do? But also, it's a direct metal mastering, which makes me think that the sound quality on this, you know, could be pretty good. So let me just open it up. That's an absolutely stunning picture there. So there we are. Yeah, so obviously it's a reissue and it's a DRM, sorry, it's a digitally remastered, but it's a direct metal mastering, which I think is it's technology developed by, I think, Teldec, German company, and it was used in the late 70s and 80s to skip a tape stage so that it could be direct cutting. Okay, So, now what I would expect to see in this is a libretto. Yeah, there's a libretto in here, but understand that this set was produced during the CD era. So instead of a nice big LP libretto, what we've got is this, which is in fact exactly the same libretto booklet as has been released with the CD issue of this particular remastered recording. Well, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that, but it just shows the way the market was going, that EMI were not even bothering to produce LP specific librettos, that they just simply used. In fact they show here, it says here, let's have a look, compact disc, cassette. This was produced on cassette as well. It doesn't even mention LP. Oh no, it does, sorry, I tell a lie. Yeah, LP, yeah, CD, LP and music cassette. So okay, fair enough. I mean, actually it's in brand new condition, that is, so that's good. But yeah, that will be interesting. I'm really pleased with that, to get it for £1, and I haven't got the original anyway, Il Trovatore, and I will look forward to listening to that. I actually think that Il Trovatore is one of Verdi's best operas. It's really strong from start to finish. There are no weak parts in that opera. It's really, really good. In fact, it's an opera that a lot of people, I would recommend, if you want to get into opera, go and listen to Il Trovatore. It's one of the greats. It's so melodic and musical all the way through from start to finish. So dramatic and intense, and it's got a great story as well. I would really recommend listening to Il Trovatore. Personally, I prefer Mozart. I wouldn't recommend listening to a Mozart opera. If you want to get into opera, I wouldn't recommend listening to a Mozart opera, really. I won't go into why at this moment, but if you want to get into opera, Il Trovatore or La Traviata is probably the way to go. Okay, yeah, so just to look at the records here, these are the 80s labels, the labels that I call Big Dog label. That's what I've coined it as. Let's see how they're oriented. Yeah, because somebody said that they didn't really pay much attention to how the labels were oriented, because I was complaining that labels were misoriented. But this one looks to me like it's more or less perfect. So, I don't know, maybe EMI did orient correctly and some other companies didn't bother. Right, the last one, finally. Another Callas set. And we've got Lucia de Lammermoor. This is a French, sorry, no it's not, I don't think it's a French issue, is it? La Voce del Padrone, that sounds Italian, yeah, sorry. It's an Italian issue, and the original of this is an SAS, a Columbia stereo, that I think was made in 1959, or the recording in Kingsway Hall, 1959, and I think it was released around about 1960. Callas recorded twice for HMV, as they were, or Columbia, recorded in 1955, I think, a studio performance of Lucia de Lammermoor, which, you know, is the stronger set, and then she recorded it in stereo, I think in 1959, and that's what this is. And I realised for certain that's what this is because I looked at the label, and there's the label, and it says stereo, so I knew then that this is a reissue of the SAS. And I think it might have been, this is the equivalent of the EMI reissue of that recording on an SLS EMI box set. I believe there's an SLS of that early Columbia set, the stereo, and this is the Italian equivalent of it, I believe. Yeah, so there we are. I mean, I've checked the condition, 2 records. It's a superb opera, absolutely superb opera by Donizetti, and really it allows the soprano to shine. And the only unfortunate thing in this case is that Callas' voice is past her best, and there are weak moments for her in this performance. But the 1955 recording that she did is far more satisfying in my opinion, even though it's mono. But this is still worth having, and I thought for £1 I can't really go wrong. There's some damage there at the top, as you can see. That's not really as I'm going to keep it for my own collection, that's not really a problem. And as for the libretto, what we've got is this. So this is actually quite nice, quite a cute little libretto. It's of course it's all in Italian, so it's not going to be of much use to me, but obviously it's worth having. I've got it for the records, not for the libretto. And interesting, on the back it says prezzo, says L350, which I'm presuming is 350 lira. So yeah, with Columbia and with EMI, they sometimes with the Columbia sets. In fact, I'm going to show you one now because I've got one here. Well, I thought I did. Let me just have a quick look here. Here we are. Yep, I thought I had one. Just so that I can demonstrate. Yeah, so that's an example of an early Columbia mono opera set. And this one, in fact, has got Callis in it. It's the famous Rigoletto with Serafin conducting. And this one really sets the benchmark. So what Columbia would do is they would issue one of these with an opera set, yeah, which is not a full-scale libretto. In fact, there were times when they would just issue a cast list, believe it or not, with these Teatro alla Scala opera box sets. They would just issue a cast list, or if you were lucky, you would get a booklet with details about the performance and a synopsis, the story, okay? And this is actually quite a good one, I mean, in this set. But this didn't always come with these opera sets. Sometimes you would just get a cast list. Now, if you wanted a libretto, sometimes that was extra, and EMI or Columbia would produce something like this and then sell it as a separate item. Because I've had box sets when I've bought them in, and I've found this, and I've also found something like this. So that's just an aside. That's just some sort of extra information for you in case you're interested. So if you see one of these early box sets, you see one of these, look inside. There should at least be the cast list. If you're lucky, you'll have one of these, a booklet, and if you're really lucky, you'll also get a libretto that looks something like this. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching, and Christmas is coming up. It's 2024, it's the 23rd today, Christmas in 2 days, and this is probably one of the last videos I'll be making before Christmas. So any of you that are watching this, I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hope you'll look forward to the new year, and obviously I'll be involving you guys in my buying expeditions, charity shop purchases, eBay purchases, etc. Plus a lot more information and commentary on classical records in general and specifically. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.